The sound of wood going through a table saw sounds different than the sound of bone. You know, one of the most utilized and most powerful tools of all the tools in my shop is the table saw, but it's also one of the most dangerous. You make one wrong move and you could lose a thumb or a finger or even worse. In this video, I'm going to cover the 10 commandments of using the table saw. These are the 10 commandments you want to learn, you want to know, you want to apply, but you don't want to learn them the hard way. I'm Eddie Field with Field Guide to DIY. Let's dive in. Commandment number 1, thou shalt always use a push stick. This is a push stick that was made by my dad. If you notice, it's got some nicks and scars in there, but every one of the nicks or scars in the push stick is a nick or a scar that you don't see on my digits. You should always use a push stick when cutting anything smaller than 6 inches. Or even if you're getting close to the end of the board, you would just want an added gravity to hold it down, because that saw blade, as it's spinning, it's going to be kicking up your board. So just use that push stick and keep those digits out of the way. Now if you notice, my zero clearance throat plate is painted red because it's part of the skill saw brand. Now what my dad did in every shop that he worked in, he carried around a can of red spray paint, and he would pull that plate and spray paint it red as a tangible reminder to all the guys in the shop, this is the danger zone. If you're gonna be working anywhere in this area, you're gonna be using a push stick. Otherwise, you're gonna be losing a digit. Now, commandment number 2 is thou shalt not stand directly behind the blade. The reason being is kickback is real. As this blade is spinning towards you, there may be a chance of it binding up on the wood. It happens all the time. The wood just starts to come back together or gets cattywampus with the blade, and before you know it, that momentum of the blade kicks the wood back at your belly. And when that wood is kicking back at you, you could catch it in the belly, but it also does things with your hands. You don't want to have anything happening that's out of the norm when your hands are in this area. So you want to be slightly askew so that if it does kick back, you could quickly jump out of the way and hey! Commandment number 3, thou shalt always set the blade height correctly. You don't want to have too much blade sticking above the table of the table saw. Now, as I'm making my cut, I don't want to have any more than 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch of blade sticking up above the cut. I do that so if there's any bowing or any flexing in the wood, it's still going to cover it. It's still going to allow me to get my push stick and push the wood down, because if there's any flexing or any bowing, I'm still going to be able to make that cut. But if you have too much blade sticking through, that gives you more potential to have an injury for every fraction of an inch that's sticking that you don't need. So what you want to do is you want to drop that blade down to, like I said, 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch. So why do I bring this up? Well, when I worked in my dad's cabinet shop, I learned something. The sound of wood going through a table saw sounds different than the sound of bone. You see, Enrique, one of the guys that also worked in my dad's cabinet shop, was cutting wood shims that were 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. Big mistake, but he thought he had enough clearance, but he had 2 inches of blade sticking up above the table for a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch piece of wood shim. He thought that since they're 4 feet long, he had enough room that he could just safely make the pass. That was until he sliced the tip of his thumb off. He learned the hard way. I want you to learn the smart way. Drop that blade down to no more than 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch above what you need to cut. Commandment number 4 when using a table saw. Always use either a rip fence or a miter gauge when you're making your cut. I have seen guys try to freehand it without using either kind, because they draw their line on the board and they're just going to eyeball it and make that cut that way. Invariably, what's going to happen is they're gonna get out of kilter, or the board's gonna pinch and it's gonna kick back on them, or worse. So always, always, always slap that fence in there, set your measurement, and make your cut, keeping on the straight and narrow. If it's wider than the fence, sure, you can cast the line, but use that miter gauge to push it along so that there's significantly less chance of it kicking back on you. Commandment number 5, thou shalt keep your shop and your area clean. You know, a cleaner shop is a safer shop because you don't have all these things distracting you. What if I had a pile of wood here and I'm making my cut, and it's because of the vibration of the table or the table saw that the wood starts to go over. Even if I take my eyes off the blade for 1 second, that's a second that injury could happen. So you want to keep all your work to the side. If you've got a stack that you're cutting, keep it to the side. Keep it a workbench or a work table, so that if it does start to go over, you're not distracted by it. You're not taking your eyes off your cut. Or sawdust. You don't want to have any tripping hazard. I've seen guys have their stock leaning up against the bench. That's just foolish in my mind. I want to stay focused on the blade and the spinning of the blade and the cutting of the wood. Commandment number 6, never wear loose-fitting clothing. Imagine if I had a smock or an oversized t-shirt or something with all the sleeves hanging down and everything. So much could happen, and with that spinning blade, I could actually get the clothing into the saw blade and be drawn into the blade. Imagine what my forearm would look like if it came into contact with that spinning blade. Also, while we're on the subject of what I wear, I have a silicone wedding band because I've heard the horror stories and I've seen the men that have lost their ring finger, because they got it caught in the spinning hook of the teeth of the table saw. So even if I do come close and I get a cut, it's gonna cut the ring and not pull me into the table saw. I'll have a link in the description to where you can pick up silicone wedding bands. Commandment number 7 is always use a riving knife. The riving knife is, as you're cutting your blade, it keeps the wood from pinching back on the saw. You know, the pinching of the wood is the #1 cause of kickback. And when you have a riving knife, it gives that extra protection, that extra measure of protection to keep it from pinching on the saw blade and kicking back on you. So if you have a table saw with a riving knife, use it. Make sure it's on there. If you don't have a table saw that has a riving knife, consider upgrading. You need one on there. Commandment number 8, thou shalt not be in a rush. Don't be in a rush, don't be in a hurry. When you are impatient, that's when mistakes happen. You start pushing your wood through too quickly, you're gonna get kickback, it's not gonna get a cut, it's not gonna cut, you're gonna burn out the blade, you're gonna burn out the saw. When you start rushing the wood through, you have more risk of kickback. You're gonna start to make mistakes. You're gonna have your wood, you're gonna have your stock piled up, and you're just gonna risk making mistakes. And when you have that, you run the risk of having injury. You're also gonna be skipping safety because you're gonna be so anxious to get the job done and get the cut made. When you're skipping safety, that's when mistakes happen, that's when accidents happen. So slow down, focus, and respect the tool. And then you'll have all 10 digits into your 60s. Commandment number 9, always wear safety protection. You'll see me very often wearing this canvas bib. It allows me to have, even if I'm wearing a baggy t-shirt, it keeps me from having the risk of it getting caught in the blade. In addition to clothing protection, have hearing protection because you want to protect your hearing. Now this guy is Bluetooth, so I can listen to the TV or listen to the radio while I'm making my cut. I also have it paired to my phone so that I don't miss that important call. While we're protecting things, let's protect our vision. Wear some sort of eye protection. You don't want to have sawdust kicking up. You want to protect your lungs. You know, there's more and more chemicals in the world today, and you just don't know what's in the wood that you're cutting. you don't want to breathe it. So I like to wear a respirator. It just keeps whatever chemicals are either in the laminate of the plywood or even in the tree that they grew. I don't want to be inhaling that. I'll have a link to these products in the description as well. And finally, commandment number 10, thou shalt always double check before powering on the saw. Do you have your wood? Do you have your stock? Can you easily see all the markings of it? Do you have your safety gear? Do you have a clean space? Do you have a place for the wood to go through? Do you have your push stick handy? Because a 5-second run through of the checklist of everything you need to be safe while working on the table saw could prevent a lifetime of regret. Follow these 10 commandments and you'll not only stay safe, but you'll master your table saw without fear of disaster. Now, I certainly have not covered all the commandments of staying safe or productive around your table saw. Do you have a horror story that's happened to you? Have a friend type in your story in the comments below. I look forward to reading it. I also look forward to seeing you in the next video. And while we're on the subject of tools, click the image on your screen now to see one of my favorite tools.